Heidi ho! Happy Vlogmas Day 15! God, I think this is the furthest I've ever gotten into Vlogmas without just bailing out. As promised, yesterday I'm going to be wrapping up my painting to ship. And I don't know if this is interesting to anybody, but I can walk you through the steps I use to ship art. I did a few years ago Google this, and if I can find the link to the video that perfectly spelled out what to do, I will. But it was super helpful. I've never had any issues with any art being damaged before, but there's a lot of layers you have to do, so it's a little bit pricey to pack things and ship things, but it does protect the art the best that you can, so let's get going. Alrighty, so jumping right into things, this is archival glassine paper. It is used to protect artwork, specialty documents. It's like an acid-free, water-resistant, grease-resistant, all that sort of stuff. It's really fancy protectant paper, which you absolutely want to use to protect artwork. It's going to be the very first layer you put over everything that's painted to make sure that nothing happens to the paint. Next up, I'm doing a layer of bubble wrap. Now, I think you can interchange this with the next step, but I did this step first just as an extra layer of bubbles. The name of the game is to get a lot of layers around this painting, so there's like a couple extra inches of padding on both sides of this painting. That is going to give you the most protection against any sort of bumping or smacking or anything that could possibly happen to your package. Next up, we are going to do the foam layer. Now, typically I buy a giant, 8 by 4 foot sheet of this at Home Depot or Lowe's, but I happen to have this packing foam from one of Parker's Christmas presents, so I just went ahead and used it. It wasn't the highest quality. It was a little thinner than I would usually like to use. Usually I like to use, I think it's like a 1/2 inch to 3/4 inch foam. This was a little thinner than that, but as far as budgetary concerns, this worked out great. It definitely did the job. And basically what you're looking to do is create a little foam box around your artwork. And like I said before, you can swap this for the bubble layer and just reverse those two layers and do this around the glassine paper. But again, I'm just trying to bulk it up with padding since this foam isn't super great, so I did a bubble layer first. Unfortunately, I did not have enough of this to make the back side of this painting, so I went ahead and used a piece of cardboard as the other side. One of the steps recommended in the video that I had watched previously, or God, it might have been an article that I read. I don't know, I looked up a bunch of different ways to ship art, but another layer that they recommend is actually building a cardboard box around this too. I find that when I do that, it gets a little heavy, which isn't a huge deal. I just prefer it to be a little bit lighter for shipping purposes. But what you'll see me doing here is creating extra corners. Now, this is one of the most important things I can recommend that you do if you're shipping art is beef up the corners. Just imagine the FedEx or UPS driver chucking your box out of their truck across the street. Just imagine the worst thing they could possibly do to this package and try and protect it from that. So just assume that the corners are going to get the crap beaten out of them and really beef up those corners. So a good trick that I learned is to take other boxes and just steal the corners off of those because they're already thicker, they're already built to be corners, so I find that that works really well as a solution for corner protection. I'm definitely not saying that all delivery truck drivers are rude and are going to check your package, but better safe than sorry, and even if there's some sort of an accident, this is definitely a great way to protect your painting from any possible damage. Now, here we go again with another bubble layer. Like I said before, it's going to be layers on layers on layers to do the absolute best job you can to put as much distance between your painting and the outside of the box. Another trick to save you money is to save all your bubbles if you're expecting to ship some art. I was lucky enough to still have this giant green roll from the last time I shipped art, which I actually purchased for that actual activity, but my brother offered me all of these tiny little pieces of white bubble wrap. As you can see, I duct taped them all together in a really long line, and it ended up working out great because I just wrapped it around a bunch of times to fill in that middle slot because I had run out of the green stuff. So never underestimate the power of saving your bubbles because they will come in handy because bubble wrap is freaking expensive. Another thing that's really expensive are boxes to ship art. I have never actually purchased an art box like that you can buy at like FedEx or UPS or whatever. They make like specialty boxes for shipping art. I've never bought them. I've always used these TV boxes. You can buy them at Home Depot or Lowe's. I find a lot of the time they're not big enough for the art that I'm shipping, but another sneaky trick, and I don't know if this is like illegal or not, so don't get me in trouble, but I accidentally found a bunch of these behind a Best Buy on Black Friday a few years ago. What was I doing? I was running errands. I think I had gone to the bank or something, and I always leave going this back way, which drives behind a Best Buy. And I just saw like stacks on stacks of TV boxes back there because obviously they had just put out a bunch of merchandise for Black Friday. So I loaded up three of these boxes that they had out by the dumpster, and they're freaking perfect for shipping art. If you ever feel like driving behind a Best Buy and they have a bunch of TV boxes back there and you need one for shipping stuff, they're great because they are really heavy duty. Obviously, because they are meant for shipping televisions, so they are the perfect boxes for this purpose. Next up, you'll see Matt and I cutting some more corners because I always double up my corner protection because, like I said, that's going to be the most susceptible area for your painting to be damaged is on the corners. So I always like two cardboard layers of protection. Now we're doing some shrink wrap. This is also kind of an expensive purchase. I had purchased that roll again the last time that I had shipped art. It's not exactly necessary. It just kind of helps keep everything together if you don't want to use a ton of tape, but absolutely not necessary, just an extra bonus if you have some. Also, what I did not talk about before was this cut I made on the TV box. So the TV box was too long for the painting I had, so if you cut it down the middle, you can overlap them and squish one side inside the other to not only give it a little double layer of protection of cardboard in the middle where it could potentially get stabbed by something, but also it makes it the exact size that you want. Because another important thing is that the painting fits perfectly inside there. So once you have it wrapped the way you like and you stick it in the TV box, if it isn't fitting snugly, you definitely want to add some more padding, especially on the corners. You definitely want your painting fitting snugly, and then tape, 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 tape. Tape everything. Tape it like there is no tomorrow. Okay, our box is officially packed. It is not the prettiest thing in the world, but it is functional. And I got away with only spending money on tape because I had everything I needed at home already because I saved bubble wrap, I saved a little foam packing strips, and I saved all my cardboard boxes from her Christmas toys. So, came out pretty inexpensive in the end, which is amazing because if you bought all of this from scratch, it would probably cost 50 to 100 bucks to get everything you need to pack up art. So definitely worth saving all of your boxes and packing padding if you're planning to ship art anytime soon. Alrighty, I think that is all that I have for you guys today. I will try and link all the products that I used down below from my Amazon Associates account. I'm not sure if Amazon ships those like foam board things. I can do like a Home Depot or a Lowe's link to that too if I don't find anything on Amazon. But I did get my glassine paper from Amazon, so I'll link the exact roll that I use. But yeah, that is how I pack my art. It is definitely not glamorous, but it certainly does protect them, and I do find it to be a successful way to ship my paintings. Oh, and the other thing I wanted to mention is when you do ship art, you can insure its value. So I think it's like $1 for every $100 of value you want insured. So it's really cheap to do. So I definitely recommend doing that, because if somehow something skewers your painting, it's definitely nice to have that work and that time you invested insured. So that is my other main suggestion when you are shipping art. And every time I've gone in to ship something, they always ask me what the value is. So they'll remind you to add that on there too. But anyway, if you like this kind of art content, I can definitely like talk about it more. I'm happy to share like my knowledge and anything I know about it. This is typically kind of like a mom channel, so I don't know if anybody's actually interested in this kind of stuff, but just let me know. Alrighty, guys, that is all I have for you today. If you are new to the channel, definitely subscribe. Vlogmas is in full swing, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Bye.